Hey, good afternoon, everybody. On this cloudy Saturday afternoon, since Facebook is having some serious issues with live streaming, a little bit of issues with Spectrum, we're just gonna record a video and upload the thing and be done with it. That's probably the simplest way to do this. Uh, what you're looking at here is the dark green shaded area is a marginal risk for isolated severe thunderstorms for tomorrow, Sunday, uh, December 13th, 2020. Although it's a low end risk, it's a risk nevertheless. You can see it covers all of southwest Louisiana, Acadiana, and then parts of extreme northwestern southeast Louisiana, which would include parts of East Baton Rouge, West Baton Rouge, Point Capee, uh, West Feliciana, and parts of East Feliciana. Uh, I wouldn't take too much stock in the line that separates this, uh, and it's entirely possible that this marginal risk gets extended just a tad bit further to the east with the midnight update tonight. So we'll see how that plays out. But I mentioned this last few days that potential was there for some isolated severe weather, and uh, the Storm Prediction Center has now verified that. So, what's going to happen is we've had a weak cold front come through, and what's going to happen is we have our next one that's going to swing through here, and we're going to have a low that's going to develop, a little surface low out here uh, somewhere along the Texas coast and eject northeastward. Now, as that does, that's going to initiate a slight warm sector. Uh, and that warm sector is going to translate inland to a certain extent. And as that surface low begins to deepen, that's going to bring about uh, the needed lift. Um, we have basically a southern stream shortwave uh, that's going to dig across the southern plains on Sunday and eventually reach in the southeast late Sunday night. Strong mid-level height falls out ahead of the shortwave will encourage surface cyclogenesis along and near the upper Texas coast. That's that low, that surface low I was telling you about, through Sunday afternoon. Uh, and as that low gradually deepens as it moves northeastward across the lower Mississippi Valley and southeast through Sunday, a warm front extending to the east northeast side of the surface low should make some northward progress across portions of coastal southeast Texas and southern and central Louisiana by Sunday evening. Um, the warm sectors should develop through the day across this area, and uh, modest diurnal heating and surface dew points in the low to mid 60s should support mixed level Cape generally in the 250 to 500 joule per kilogram range. Now, this weekend stability uh, will extend through or near the surface layer. That'll probably be sufficient to support surface-based thunderstorms. Given that a strong wind profile through the troposphere associated with the shortwave trough coming in from the west will likely support 40 to 50 knots of effective bulk shear over that warm sector. That's more than sufficient for supercell structures. Uh, Weak mid-level lapse rates may limit uh, stronger updrafts to some extent. Isolated to scattered convection should develop by early Sunday afternoon as the low-level jet strengthens, and this activity will quickly move east and northeastward into Louisiana by Sunday evening, along and ahead of a cold front. Uh, Occasional damaging straight line winds should be a concern given the strength of the low and mid-level flow, and with the potential for storms to grow upscale into a small Boeing line segment. So, uh, given that, a tornado or two also appears possible, uh, as varying low-level wind profile associated with this and related shear appears pretty sufficient for rotating updrafts. Uh, Moving forward, all this convection should have the tendency to become elevated uh, as this system progresses into Mississippi and Alabama, uh, and as it outpaces the greater low-level moisture that's going to be prevalent in Louisiana. Uh, and that in turn will have a lower severe threat, if any, uh, as this thing gets into Mississippi and Alabama. So, um, given that, we're going to take away the risk area, and let's put the model into motion now. And this is the NAM 3 kilometer from 6 a.m. Sunday morning to 6 a.m. Monday morning. And you can see the progression of this as that shortwave digs uh, out of the plains. And you can see it here as it dives eastward, and you see the squall line coming through here. Now, any isolated cells ahead of this line uh, tend to be supercellular, and with rotating updrafts possible with that wind profile in place, um, things could get pretty tricky, and we could see a tornado warning or two issued. Um, this is mainly going to be a nocturnal event. You can see tomorrow, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the bulk of the heavy stuff is just it's in northwest Louisiana, and uh, we have some of these isolated cells uh, out ahead of this thing. That's going to be the main threat from any severe tornadic activity. Now let's move forward, and you can see I have a pretty solid line now. Again, these little rogue cells streaming in out ahead of this front, that's going to be the ones to watch for tornadic activity. And this is for 5 p.m. Now we're going to move forward a little bit, and by 6 p.m., southwest Louisiana, we're starting to follow under the gun with this. And we're going to take this to 7 p.m. Oh, what just happened there? Okay, 7 p.m. You can see the algorithms with this kind of you see that pulsing in intensity, and I don't I don't think we're going to see that. This thing's going to be probably solid. So let's punch this through a little bit more, and uh, by 8 o'clock, it's just exiting Jeff Davis Parish and up points northward through Alexandria, Lake Charles. You're in the clear uh, between 7 and 8 tomorrow. That's if this time frame holds. I would say give or take a couple of hours either side of this. Um, we'll have a better idea come later tonight, and I'll take a look at the HRRR tomorrow morning. But moving forward, uh, we don't see as many isolated cells out ahead of the front. We basically now got our squall line coming through, and it looks pretty strong. But and there could be some damaging winds with that. If you see any of these little notches in here, uh, these little notches, you could get a QLCS spin up in there. So again, that's something that need to be mindful of. Now let's move to 9 o'clock. So as we're approaching 9 o'clock, this thing is basically out of southwest Louisiana and most of Acadiana, except for the southern parishes down south of Lafayette and just points east of Lafayette, and starting to encroach into southwest Louisiana. And we'll go to 10 o'clock, and we still have a weakening squall line, if you will, with the bulk of the heavier stuff in the southern Mississippi and central Mississippi. And then watch what happens moving forward. You see a little bit of a pulse here through the Florida parishes and down south, stretching southwest from it, but it basically breaks apart, and uh, thus the severe threat basically is over. And we'll still see some residuals on the backside of that, but other than that, you know, 10, 11 o'clock in the evening, this is over with. So then we'll move ahead, and we get into Monday morning, and for your morning commute to start the work week off, all clear. So, and don't pay attention to the blue cold front line or the boundary line here. That's current. But what I'm going to do is we'll move forward to 6 a.m. Monday morning. You can see the front is pushed off, excuse me, well off to the east by Monday morning. And these are your projected lows. And we'll start up here in Shreveport, lower upper 30s, around 40. So it's going to be chilly Monday morning before you wake up, and uh, basically mid to upper 40s all across the state. Uh, Down here in the southern parts of southeast Louisiana, you'll be in the upper 40s. New Orleans and point south, you'll be in the low 50s. So we had the progression of the front, and during the day, we should have, let's see, 5 p.m. is probably going to be too late for a daytime high. But we're not going to, if this verifies, let's go to 3 o'clock Monday afternoon. So if this plays out, we really don't get out of the 40s on Monday for most of the state. And it's definitely going to be chilly. Now we'll take a look at wind gusts. Uh, we'll combine that, and uh, it's not going to be too bad in the western and northwest part of the state. Uh, with those temperatures, you can take that down to around 40. Between 30, so wind chills are going to be 35 to 40 through much of the area. So it's definitely going to be chilly Monday. And we'll start a little cold snap. But for the most part, the worst of this stuff is going to come in tomorrow afternoon and evening. And by midnight, if all goes well, it's done and gone. And we'll move into our next little cold snap and taking a look ahead uh, for your work week ahead. Looks like our next bet, at least for here in southwest Louisiana, our next best shot of rain would be probably Tuesday night. Uh, and then that's going to be it for the rain. We should be sunny through the rest of the week. Uh, we may get a freeze uh, on Wednesday night and the Thursday morning. Certainly, lows are going to be in the mid to upper 30s once this pushes through. So, all in all, welcome to winter 2020. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the video. Uh, what I want to do is one more thing here with this. Let's take a look at rainfall potential, and probably not going to be a whole lot associated with it. You see it anywhere from an inch and a half to inch and 3/4, pushing 2 inches uh, through these areas through Marksville, and everywhere else is a quarter to an inch at best. So it's not going to rainfall isn't going to be an issue uh, with this system, and I don't expect any big rainfall or flooding issues for South Louisiana at all. Uh, and as you can see, New Orleans basically quarter inch at best, if that. So it shows the extent of the heaviest of the weather. And moving forward, uh, this is over the next 5 days. So we're not going to see much in the way of rainfall. Uh, Probably what you saw last night. Expect probably a repeat as far as rainfall totals go. You can expect a repeat of what we just got last night. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. If you enjoy the information, support the work, support the mission to inform, help save property and lives. Hit one of those donation links. Uh, Belated birthday present, always welcome. Early Christmas present, always welcome. So, again, stay aware, stay safe, and we'll talk to you again later. Thanks for watching.